Namaste yogis. I'm Chintamani Cloud and I'm glad that you're joining me again. In today's video, I'll be inviting us into a real efficient sequence. We got under 20 minutes here to explore doing some flow, getting the heat needed from within to then do some backbends and inversions, so that if you only have a few minutes to do yoga in a day, we want to make sure that we can tap into some of the important poses that the body can really depend on. So I'll be inviting us to focus on our alignment, drawing the deep internal abdominal muscles in so that we can find a new strength and really cultivate that heat along with our pranayama and a steady gaze. Once we find that in our sun salutations, we're jumping right into back bends, and we want to make sure we take all that alignment with us, as that's really going to be needed, especially when we're doing a condensed practice. We want to make sure we take all the right alignment and breath work with us so that we can move safely and really experience our full potential even in a short time. So let's make it to our mats. I'll see you there. Namaste. We'll start today's practice at the front edge of our mats, coming into even an equal weight distribution between the right and the left side of the body. Then we're gonna structure ourselves according to our alignment awareness, drawing the shoulders up and back behind us, letting them widen apart, and rolling them back as we engage the core to keep them locked in the shoulder girdle. Then our tailbone will tuck under. We'll lock that in by engaging the glutes and then drawing the lower belly, middle belly, and upper belly in towards the spine. Trying to keep this alignment throughout our practice as we breathe slowly and rhythmically with a steady gaze is going to be our focus in today's flow. Inhaling, let's draw the arms up overhead, gazing up. Exhaling, gazing at the tip of the nose as we dive forward. Inhaling, half lift. Exhaling, we're going to come right to chaturanga, or if you need to break it down, feel welcome to. Inhaling, upward facing dog, or if you need a gentle back bend to start, exhaling, downward facing dog. Feel welcome to modify as you need to. The traditional Surya Namaskar A. And one more breath here. We're actually going to inhale forward into plank position. I'm going to step my feet back to lengthen into plank, drawing the tailbone under, squeezing through the glutes, closing the energy gateways that live along the spine. We'll take another inhale breath here. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhaling, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhaling, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Starting to warm up the body now. As we come into our upward facing dog, we're preparing for inversions as we draw the heart above the head and start to take weight distribution into the arms and the shoulder girdle. We start to learn to activate the abdominal muscles to lengthen the spine, stacking vertebrae on top of vertebrae. And then we want to draw in through the glutes and the pelvic floor as we open up through the hamstrings and the calves and the Achilles. Let's inhale onto the balls of the feet. Exhale as we bend through the knees. We'll walk or maybe do a little hop forward. Inhale to your half lift, maybe fingertips stay on the floor or lift off. Exhale, forward fold. Gazing back behind you, inhaling, turning the palms to face out as the arms come up and overhead. And exhale, Samastitihi, hands to your side bodies or to prayer position. We're going to come into sun salutation B now, bending in the knees. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, diving forward. Ustrasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhaling, plank position or chaturanga if you're ready. Inhaling, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhaling, Adho Mukha Svanasana. We come right into Virabhadrasana A, warrior one, right side. And exhale, we come right into chaturanga on the same exhale breath if you can. Inhaling, upward facing dog. Exhaling, downward facing dog. Coming into warrior one, left side, right foot steps gently forward. Then we step left foot all the way up in between the hands. Exhaling, lower down, chaturanga. Inhaling, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhaling, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Realigning in the spine as we calm the mind and come back to the breath. Getting ready for a second set. Left foot steps forward, right foot comes up in between the hands, inhaling. Exhaling, lower down, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhaling. Exhaling, left foot steps forward, up in between the hands, inhaling. Exhaling. Inhaling. And exhaling. Inhaling onto the balls of the feet, exhaling as we bend through the knees, walking or floating the feet forward. Feet come up to meet the hands, inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhaling, we bend into the knees, right into our chair pose. Exhale, Samastitihi. Shaking out through the body a little bit if you need to, rolling through the shoulders perhaps. Okay, sun salutation B, inhaling, chair pose. Exhaling, dive forward. Inhaling, half lift. Exhaling, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhaling, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhaling, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Virabhadrasana A. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhaling. And exhaling. Left side, inhaling. Exhaling. Inhaling. And exhaling. Inhaling onto the balls of the feet, exhaling as you bend through the knees, walking or floating the feet forward. As the feet come up to meet the hands, we'll take an inhale to our half lift. Exhale to our forward fold, bending at the knees. Inhaling, chair pose. And exhale, Samastitihi. Shaking that out if you need to. We're going to get ready to come towards the floor and starting to open up for our back bend. So we'll inhale our arms up. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, we'll come to plank, Chaturanga. Inhaling and exhaling, Adho Mukha Svanasana. So we're going to use this to either float through or step the feet forward into a seated position, extending the legs out in front of us. We'll roll the shoulders back and take a brief pause in our staff pose. We want to warm up the core here as we lengthen the spine in towards the floor and extending the legs. Engaging the quads, tucking the tailbone under, drawing the core in. Shoulders are over the hips. One more breath here. And then we're going to come towards the floor. I'm going to bend at the knees, release elbows down or core engagement. I'm going to preparing for a back bend here. Make sure I'm on my mat. We're going to roll the shoulders back behind us. And then starting with the palms facing up, and then once we have our shoulders behind us, we can turn our palms to face down. Tucking the tailbone under is going to automatically push the lower back in towards the floor and engage the core. The glutes are automatically starting to squeeze, and we're going to use that to lift the hips up. Bridge pose here, Western style modified bridge pose as we start to push through the arms. I'm rolling the shoulders underneath me, lifting the chest up, drawing the belly in. Pushing through the neck and head. One more breath. And exhale to release. You're going to take the feet off the floor, draw the knees into the chest, maybe roll a little bit from side to side. You can repeat your bridge posture now for a second set, or you can start coming into your wheel pose if you think you're ready. I'll be inviting us into our Urdhva Dhanurasana, our wheel pose. Feet are about hips distance apart. We roll the shoulders back, and now we're setting up our arms. The fingertips, we're getting a nice stretch on those hands with the fingertips pointing away from us, and we're lifting those elbows up. It's like I'm coming into bridge pose now, so I've tucked my tailbone under and drawing my hips up. I can squeeze through my glutes, drawing through my pelvic floor, starting to close Mula Bandha, starting to close Uddiyana Bandha, coming into deep breathing now to get our Jalandhara Bandha in check. We're gonna come to the top of the head so that we can make sure our shoulders are back behind us, widening apart. Make sure the core is engaged in this way. As we straighten our arms, our shoulders do not move, just the arms move. And if you're ready to take it a little deeper, you can walk your feet or your hands in towards each other. Keep squeezing through the glutes, tuck the tailbone under, firmly fix the gaze at the tip of the nose or on the floor between the palms for one more breath. And exhale to release. I'm gonna tuck my chin in so that as I come down towards the floor, my spine is lengthening. And I could take a moment here. I'm gonna tuck tailbone under, push the belly in to release the lower back. Push the middle of the spine in towards the floor to realign the lower back. We'll get ready. If you'd like to do one more set, you could repeat a third set of bridge, or coming into another Urdhva Dhanurasana. It's just nice sometimes to repeat our back bend. So tucking the tailbone under, lifting the hips up, establishing the arms, closing Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, Jalandhara Bandha, preparing maybe as a pause briefly with no weight or some weight. As you set your arms, find your engagement in the shoulder girdle, lock it in through your core. Bandhas, all the muscles activating in this posture. We believe sometimes that we can't engage our muscles to open them, but we can. And we can open more truthfully and more deeply, walking your hands in any amount for 2 more breaths. And releasing. We'll draw the knees in towards the chest. If you need to take a moment to reestablish, you can realign the spine by just simply pushing middle of the back in towards the floor and the lower back in towards the floor. And then when you're ready, knees into the chest. And you can focus on just pulling them in straight as you push your lower back, middle back, and upper back in towards the floor. And then if you want to roll a little bit from side to side to massage the muscles on either side of the spine, feel welcome to. All right, and we're gonna take a vinyasa from here. You can feel free to stay on your back or following through on a vinyasa. I use that to roll forward. And then we can choose bringing the hands alongside us, pushing into our hands as we crawl our feet back behind us and we form our plank. Or another option is from seated pose, we bring our hands forward and then we step our feet back into plank. A line through the neck and head, exhale, lower down. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling onto the balls of the feet, exhaling as you bend through the knees, walking or floating your feet forward. Feet come up to meet the hands, and we're gonna lower down. Preparing for our shoulder stand. I'm gonna establish my shoulders coming to, we don't want them rolling forward. We want them rolling back behind us. So if you need to, extend your arms with your palms facing up. Your feet pushing into the floor can help you with the awareness of tucking your tailbone under and pushing your lower back and middle back, or even you're thinking of pushing your spine right into the floor. And I'm going to be using my hands to support me right away as I bring my feet up for our shoulder stand. Do this in stages if you need to, 1 foot or both feet. And then a way to modify is just, you don't go up, you check in with the spine here, you check in with the neck, with the upper back between the shoulder blades. And as you're ready to, you start to engage through all your bandhas. If you've lost your engagements, I often do, and then we are realigning. And just coming into whatever expression you can work with, deep breaths. Now we'll come into a plow position, bringing the feet back as far as we can where it's comfortable, checking again in with the neck, with the spine between the shoulder blades. And then for me, I'm feeling very tight this morning. It's cold where I'm practicing. My hips are coming back. In time, my feet come forward and my hips come forward. And so you might be experiencing that as you feel the opening between the shoulder blades and the neck. And then one more deep expression here, bending in the knees as much as you can to lower them down towards the forehead. If you've got a position where you're opening your knees up down to your temples, or maybe you can cover your ears. Please come into the full expression. We're again trying to work in through our core here to lift our hips forward over those shoulders in time. In time also getting so compressed that we're actually really stretching out the spine. We'll go ahead and straighten out the legs. Bring our hands to our lower back as we pull our feet forward and start to gently release the hips back down towards the floor. From here, to reassess, we're going to lengthen the neck and head, push the neck into the floor, open and roll the shoulders back, tuck the tailbone under, and the spine draws in towards the floor. Maybe bring your palms towards the floor and take a deep breath, inhaling and maybe exhaling, coming into a bridge pose. A little bit of a gentle variation on the shoulder stand position for one more breath, and then we'll release. We'll bring the feet back behind us if you'd like to swing forward and take a vinyasa, modifying it, or doing the full expression, whatever you've got. Or meeting us just on your hands and your knees, getting ready for our handstand position, or excuse me, headstand position. And folks can choose to bring the short edge of their mats over towards a wall if that's your practice. Some of us will be just really focusing on engaging our core and trying to do things in the middle of the mat here. So bringing our hands down towards the floor in a tabletop position. We bend at the elbows and we're lowering our elbow down to the position where our palms was, and then we are going to try to measure. And we want our elbows about as long, we want our fingertips to come about to our elbows edge. I sometimes like them in a little bit closer so my fingertips are kind of coming over the edge. So see what feels good to you. We're trying to get into a position where we can engage the shoulder girdle and not collapse into the shoulders, so that we can float the head off the floor. I'm going to pull my hands away from me, interlace my fingers, bring the crown of the head towards the floor without placing any weight into it. Now I've got to find Uddiyana Bandha, Muladhara Bandha, and Jalandhara Bandha as we start to lift into headstand position. Maybe take 1 foot at a time, engage through the core, squeeze through the glutes. Squeeze through the glutes, pushing into the hands, pushing into the forearms, pushing into the elbows. Every day staying here for 1 breath longer. And 1 more breath here. We'll try to come down slowly. You can do 1 leg at a time or drawing the knees into the chest, or if you want to practice this slow descent, see what you got. You can do 1 leg at a time or both feet at the same time and try to come down with control. Then we're going to bend at the knees and release into a child's pose. From here, you're welcome to make your way towards the floor into a Shavasana position. If you'd like to throw in 1 more vinyasa to realign the spine, feel welcome to. Inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, and exhaling. And now we're going to come once again towards the floor. And we can do legs extended for a traditional Shavasana, or if you'd like to get a little bit into the hips, since we had a pretty condensed practice, we can sneak in a yin style posture here. One of my favorites, reclined butterfly, with supports, maybe pillows or blankets or towels under the knees. And then you can extend your arms out into a T shape. If you'd like to, you can even fold at the elbows into cactus shape, and then just taking some aware breaths here. Still playing with your breath, directing it in and out of the body for the next few moments as it calms. And then very naturally we'll come to a place of very little movement in the body, including the breath. Be here for as long as you're able to. And have a great rest of your day.